And you know the saying, boys, we got action. Yo, Zion's having a baby, and everybody's shocked because he's beating the snow bunny allegations, which we already know Dr. Umar is very happy about. But I had to do more research on this woman, and apparently, shout out to Ann Pavelli, this woman is in this video twerking. Now, I can't show the video because I'm going to get taken down and flagged, and I don't want that. But you do the research yourself. Just remember who sent you. Well, buddy, I took an even deeper dive. Now, as you can see, this is her on the left, but I can't show you that image fully. And now on the right, yeah, that's Mr. Put It On Live, I give you $1,000. Obviously, Boozy is from Louisiana, and Zion plays in New Orleans, which is a Louisiana. There seems to be some collusion here, but all we can do is pray and hope for the best. In the words of Dr. Umar, African queens forever.
However, there's more. Here's another one. Here's more. You can see why he knocked that up. She's 29, and he is 23. She got that BBL. She's a video model. We see her with Boosie. There's her and her friends showing off the goodies, showing off them curves. From being a stripper, video model, to having a baby with a guy who has a $194 million guaranteed contract.
With all due respect, why would you get with a woman that already has a kid and you're a millionaire, a young millionaire? I can see if you were like a 40, 50-year-old man and, you know, you don't want any more kids, and let's say she already has a kid, that's fine. But my guy, you're 22 years old. Well, first of all, nothing against single mothers, but if you're a multi-millionaire, I'm just saying you have options, my guy. This isn't, and it's not even mostly, I'm not even really trying to direct all of this towards Zion. But men in general, you have to choose better. Some of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life is who you marry, who you have a kid with. And I think the other one is like what you do to make money or something like that.
A girl by the name of Mariah Mills is all over the internet and calling him out by name, attaching his name to stuff and saying, giving vivid details of their encounters with one another. She's a porn star. Now, y'all gonna sit up there and say, damn, where's Stephen A going with this? Where am I going? Are you ready for this? I'm kind of pissed. I'm kind of pissed off. Because all I can think about is, man, you only played 29 games last year.
Hey, look, I really can't speak to this whole situation with this girl that is, you know, saying she might be pregnant. I don't like getting into all that gossip, but, you know, I mean, as far as I know, guys, like some guys with something to lose, they usually sign like an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. But, you know, because if this girl's coming out and saying a bunch of random stuff, you know, that would be in violation of the NDA. But she could just be making all this stuff up. I don't know. I don't like giving attention to stuff like this. People making up rumors, especially women making up allegations about a guy trying to tarnish his name and stuff like that. But the point is, in general, okay, everybody, men and women, you have to make better decisions with who you mess with, who you date. But the most important thing is who you have a kid with, who you have a child with, and who you marry. A man, I don't know what parent, if you raised your son and he becomes a successful lawyer, doctor, or even a professional athlete, and he's making hundreds of millions of dollars, $200 million contract, set for life, whether he plays another game ever again. Would you advise your son, if you raised him, would you advise him to get with a woman with no children or a woman with children? Past aside, let's put the past aside. We're not even talking about, you know, her being a music video girl or a stripper or anything like that. We're not even talking about that. In general, would you want your son to bring home a woman with a child? And it works both ways. Would you want your daughter to bring home a man with the child? Oh, if it makes them, if they're happy, like, okay, but be real, be honest. Would you prefer them to start their own family or be successful and then go get with somebody who already has a kid? It doesn't mean that people are with kids are bad, but if they are successful, if you're a millionaire, do you not have any other options? That's all I want to know. Now, most people kind of got to take what they can get. You know, I mean, if you're an average person, you usually have to get with an average person. You know, kids are not. I mean, you usually just have to get with, you know, what the best you can get. But if I'm a multi-millionaire, if I raise a multi-millionaire child, I would not advise them to do that. I'm not saying that you can't be happy and stuff like that, but I'm just saying the same, whatever qualities you found in this person, you can get a childless version of them too. You have options. This is why it's so important for men to travel the world. You need to at least become successful, but you also need to travel the world. You need to see what's out there, because a lot of guys don't even know what a real woman is. They've never seen it. A real woman is a rare thing in the United States. I mean, a real traditional woman that's in shape, no tattoos, no piercings, doesn't have anger problems, knows how to be polite, soft-spoken, can cook from scratch, loves to serve. Not just like, oh, I'm going to do it because, you know, it makes them happy. No, just someone who actually just does it. They're used to doing it. They was raised to do it. A natural body. She stays in shape. She goes to the gym. She's already disciplined. She doesn't sleep around. Never slept around. Never had a whole phase. Isn't interested in feminism. She dreams of being a wife one day. In her prime. Not when she's 35, but when she's 21. She can't wait to be a wife. And this is not an attack on the girl that he chose, but I'm just saying in general, men, you have to make better decisions. I don't care if you make $50,000 or $100,000. You have to make better decisions. But if you make millions of dollars, man, you like black women do, you could have flew to Africa. You could have flew to Brazil. And you could have got a beautiful childless woman. You could have paid for her English class. Like, that stuff don't even cost no money. Like, I mean, dude, you're 22 years old and you go get with a 30-year-old woman with a kid who's been with rappers. That's a bad decision. In my opinion, I think it's worse than what Paul George did. Paul George, you know, he basically had a kid, you know, he basically wifed a woman that, you know, had a past. But damn, she didn't have any kids either. I'm just saying, why would you be a 22-year-old stepfather? You're 22. I can see if you were at least 35 or older, but come on, man. 22-year-old millionaire, and you go get a woman with a kid, and you got women coming out of the woodwork saying weird stuff about, I mean, you know, that's not here nor there. I don't pay attention to stuff like that. But it just reminds me of, okay, there was a time when Zion came out, you know, he was supposed to play this past season. He was supposed to play. He was healed up. He was doing dunks in practice and stuff like that, but he just didn't feel like himself.
The playoffs are 4 days away, but if the Pelicans are going to make it out of the play-in and into the playoffs, they're going to have to do it without Zion Williamson. He hasn't played since suffering a hamstring injury on January 2nd. He's listed as out for tomorrow's elimination game against the Thunder on ESPN. And moments ago, Zion, he spoke with reporters. Take a listen.
How close are you to feeling like you'll be ready to play?
I mean, physically, I'm fine. Now it's just a matter of when I feel like Zion. You know, I know the atmosphere I'd be in based off like the playoff experience. So now it's just a matter of when I feel like Zion.
How frustrating was the setback?
It sucks. I don't know how else to say it. It just sucks. I love this game. I say it over and over. For those people that think that I just want to sit on the sideline just to sit over there, I don't know why people think that. But nah, it sucks. I just want to be playing basketball for real.
He was going through something mentally and emotional. He didn't say what it was. But here you are 1 month later talking about, you know, a gender reveal. So she's been pregnant for some time. So obviously, whatever you were going through probably had something to do with dealing with women. You couldn't play because maybe your heart broke, your feelings were hurt, you know, in a relationship or something like that. Dude, look what you're dealing with. You're supposed to be the face of the league. You're supposed to be the next LeBron, the next Jordan. He's better, in my opinion, he's better than John Morant. And John Morant is an amazing generational talent. Zion Williamson is he's I mean, I would put him up there. He's like top 3 in my opinion. Yeah, you can put up. I mean, that's debatable. You can get into Jokic and KD and stuff like that. But we're talking about the youngest guy who's like the most talented. The league is supposed to be Zion's. I'm not saying he can't eventually get there, but I'm saying like who you choose to marry and who you choose to have kids with has a huge impact on your career. Because when you're having problems at home, it's hard to even focus in your career because you can't even think straight. There was a time, and I hate to speculate. I remember Paul George was in the NBA bubble, and he was complaining about being in like not in the right mental space. I couldn't help but think, I'm like, well, damn, he's gone. He's in another city in a bubble without his family, and he married a woman who had a history of being a dancer. Okay, we'll say that she had a history of being a dancer, and here you are in a bubble. You're probably stressed out and worrying about who she's with. That was my conclusion. I mean, I don't know. I can only speculate, but I know what it's like to be a man and worry about relationships and worrying about, are you with the right woman? Is she doing the right things? Is she stressing you out? Is she bringing you peace? The most peaceful women usually are women who haven't been damaged. So you usually need to get a woman that's younger than you, an adult woman with no children that's less damaged. Okay, you get someone that comes from, if I'm a millionaire, I'm gonna get a woman that comes from a 2-parent household. Okay, no children, no tattoos, no piercings, not interested in feminism, was raised to be a wife. Okay, like you can go to Africa and you can still buy a wife. That's part of their culture. It's not misogyny. It's nothing like that. It's literally, we raised her to be a wife. How to, take care of children. We got her educated. We paid her, get her through school. That's just their culture. They look at our culture. They look at women. In the Middle East, they look at women walking around with their hair out like something's wrong with you. Women walking around half naked and stuff. That's normal in the States, but you go to Africa or the Middle East, they look at like, what's wrong with her? She's crazy. How could you walk around half naked? That's for your husband. So, I try not to be the culture police, and I try to respect other cultures and other walks of life. I can only judge, the American culture because that's, where I'm from, but I can't judge Brazilians. I can't judge, different parts of Africa. I can't judge the Middle East and wag my finger at them. That's their culture. It's legal in their culture. But if you could have went to Africa, bought your English speaking wife, okay, that wears her actual natural hair instead of a woman that has to have a $1,000 wig on her head at all times. Do you even know what she looks like without the damn wig on her head? And I'm trying not to make this about Zion and the woman. I'm just speaking in general terms. Let me know in the comments, would you marry, or even if let's say I don't care what you make. If you make $50,000, would you get with a woman with a kid, with a stripper past, or would you try to get someone that, with a natural body, no children, or what? What would you advise your son? If you're a woman, would you advise your son to do the same thing that Zion did? If he was a multi-millionaire, what would you advise your son? What would you advise your daughter? I mean, I hope for the best for him, but my God, you're young. You're 22 and she's 30. What is wrong with you? And then he has this shirt on. I'm here so I don't get yelled at. You're already a simp, man. I don't know what's worse. I don't know who's throwing their life away worse, Zion or John Morant. I mean, John Morant, he's going to lose some money because he's going to be suspended at least, my guess is half the season. But Zion, you just changed your whole life. Ja, he's going to get back he's going to play again. And he has the rest of his life to make better choices. Zion, he's 22 years old and already talking about he just doesn't feel like himself. You're having a kid. Hopefully you don't get married. But if you seem like you're in love with this woman that probably the first girlfriend you ever really had. You don't know how to navigate women. And, so you're going to have to deal with this for the rest of your life. People will get past John Morant's gun situation. They'll make jokes, but they'll get past it. This human being that you're creating with this woman is going to chase you for the rest of your life. Because I think there's going to be one day you're going to wake up and realize, damn, I could have did better. Because you haven't even seen anything. You haven't seen the world. You haven't seen how beautiful Brazilian women are. If you want to have a black woman, I'm just saying you need to go to Brazil, Colombia, Dominican Republic. You need to get a woman outside of the United States. I mean, you can get the best of the best if you traveled overseas. Go to Europe, go to experience different cultures before you just settle down with a weave head with a kid that's 30.